Hey everyone, welcome to Brother Sew's crafting and sewing page. And I had to even think about it. Happy New Year, by the way. We have missed you a lot the whole last week. So today and this entire week, we're going to give you a recap on getting organized. Isn't that what we're all trying to do now? So sorry about my I'm actually just got back to the studio yesterday. The place looks like a hot mess. That's all I can say. I'm not sure who came in here while I was gone, but it might take me a month to get organized. So a perfect timing for that. So welcome everyone. Oh, great to see all of you again. So if you've never been here before, or maybe your New Year's resolution is to hang out with all of us, I'm a Brother Brand Ambassador and we have a lot of fun here. So just so you know, for the next while, I would say like for 2021, this is the show schedule because I know we switch sometimes from noon to 1 to 4. So every Tuesday and Thursday, you can plan on popping over here to the Brother Sew's Facebook page for sewing or crafting, or their YouTube page, depending on which one you're watching, at noon on Tuesday and noon on Thursday. That's Eastern Standard Time. So just mark it on your calendar and you never know who's going to be popping in. But the Brother Educators, we had so much fun this last year that we have a whole other schedule for Thursdays with the Brother Educators, and then you'll plan on seeing Brother Brand Ambassadors on Tuesdays. And you never know, we might mix it up a little bit. So yes, and I have not taken my Santa down from behind me on my dress form. I moved the dress form and I vacuumed. That's about as far as I got. So today, this is what I have for you today. I'm going to give you some tips on organizing. Right now, I'm really organizing my buttons. I keep looking because it's all over there, which I'm going to take you over there. I'm going to show you tips for organizing buttons, beads, things like that. I don't know about you, but I love hand beading. I'm not just a sewist, but I also love crafting of so many different kinds. So I'm going to show you how I organize these. I kind of steal the fishing boxes from my husband, or maybe he takes mine for his fishing. I'm not sure, but I'm going to show you how I organize, and I'm also going to show you a quick and easy way to make a pattern envelope. Many of us sew different patterns if it's from bags to garments, and those patterns can really be a mess. Now, I'm not going to show you this today because it's in that side of the room, which nobody's allowed to see right now until maybe Thursday. It might be adequate, but I hang a lot of my patterns, which I'll show you that later in the week. But I'm also going to show you, for those that don't have the room to hang an entire curtain rod with all of your patterns, maybe you need something a little more organized. So I have some clear plastic. I'm going to show you how to make a quick bag and show you how to sew on that. Very easy to do. Sometimes it's a little intimidating. You can buy this stuff for very inexpensive at a craft store. So I'm going to show you how to use the Move It foot and sew that. So, all right, I see you all rolling in. It's so nice to see you again. Yes, and for those of you that have been following me for the last couple of weeks, you might notice you have a lot of opportunities to win some of my sewing patterns to get you started sewing this year. So it's over on, if you go to Fashion Sewing with Angela Wolf, that's my blog, or go to angelawolf.com and click on blog. And tomorrow on my page, I'll be doing a drawing for each of the patterns, and you still have an opportunity to win those. So mark that too. All right, so let me go show you a few little tips here for getting organized. And then I would love to hear how you get organized, because there are so many great tips. On Thursday, Jerry's going to be popping in. He's got the most organized sewing room ever. And in fact, when I was hanging out with the educators each time, I would, you kind of always do that I spy thing, what's going on in their studio. There's so many great tips that I don't even think of. So you're going to get a lot of ideas this month. All right, so let me take you back over. I'll meet you over at the table. Okay. I just got to run over there myself. Okay, this is where I get my exercise. Oh, this is what I was working on earlier. So first of all, this is what we'll be using at the end of the show. Clear plastic. I'm going to give you some ideas for that. In the meantime, let me just show you some things that I use for buttons. So look at, if I have all these stacked on top of each other, you can actually see the colors. I organize my buttons by color. I mean, now maybe you don't have this many, but this is just one idea. So you can see there's the yellow. Some of these, by the way, I purchased a long time ago, and you can see the price of these. 12 cents a button. Can you even imagine? Now we pay like a ridiculous amount. So these are all my yellow. I have what you call a shank button. Those are all in here. So I know if I need a yellow button, I'm just going to scan this page. And these are just little crafting boxes. Actually, this might have come out of my husband's fishing side, but we kind of share these back and forth because he uses these for his lures. Okay, so I have them itemized by color. These are all plastic. Some of them are glass, but if you do them by color, it's so much easier if you're looking for something quickly. I also have a combination of different sizes. Depending on if I have a whole pile of buttons, which later this week I'll show you another way that I do all my snaps. If they're all different sizes, then I might actually have a few different areas open for the different sizes. So like here, there's a bunch. All these are great for pants. These are like little shirt buttons. Anybody want to come over for a button party? Organizing these was not so fun. But if you start getting organized, then it's much easier. Again, these are shank buttons. And you might have heard me talk about shank buttons before because we have, this is the little section that, this is great for jackets and jeans. Because if you're using a thick fabric, you just have to imagine that this shank will keep this away from that thick fabric. I have had a few of you email me about that when we were doing buttonholes. All right, so that's a really easy way to do your buttons. Now we have bins and bins and bins of this. Slide those out of the way. Now, by the way, I could not get the labels off of here, so just know the label on here is not a Brother product. But I found these organizers, gosh, they were like $2 a piece. And I love designing jewelry, doing hand beading on my garments, everything like that. So these bins here, I organize by beads. So you can see this is a bracelet I already started putting together. I have every different color in here. Some of these come on little bins like this. So if I were going to add this on a garment, if I was doing it by the sewing machine or if I'm doing it by hand, I can quickly organize by color. These are shell beads. Aren't these gorgeous? Oh yes, I love beading. These are just some extra things that I found in my stash that I really didn't have a way to organize, so I just throw them in the side here. Is that going to be our next little online, how to make a bracelet? I'm warning you, it's kind of like embroidery. Okay, so here are all my pearls. I have all the pearls in here. Different colors like this. So now, by the way, you might have seen some of my garments where I add beading along the necklines. This is how I organize it. And a lot of these beads right here, these are shell beads. They just have one hole in the side. And you can attach these to your necklines, which in February will be the month for embellishing, and you'll learn a lot about that. But for now, we're organizing. Okay, and then for those of you that do make jewelry, I always have, here's all my silver pieces, my chain, my earrings. Now, you saw in the last few Facebook Live shows, you might have seen us making different things like, so here's a bracelet, earrings. Remember the earrings? So this is where I would put all my little earring toppers to attach if you're cutting up cork or anything like that. So it's a great way to organize. These are, if you've never made jewelry, you probably don't know what half this stuff is, but there's a lot of things you can cut out on your scan and cut or even embroider lace and turn them into earrings. Very easy to do. And then I have one more for beading before I get into the sewing the bags. Again, this is not, the brand on top is not a Brother brand, so I'm sorry I couldn't get those off of there. So these actually were great. Sometimes you can't put a lot in them though. They're very fragile. But these are like the finer beads, and I embroidered, oh gosh, I'm not embroidered, I hand stitched, and I did some with the machine, thousands and thousands of beads to my wedding dress. And I've also done this on tops. So these are just glass beads. Again, do this by color. So I can quickly see these organized. There's all different shapes and sizes. And these are all of my garment beading. I might use some of these in bracelets, but most of these are for garments. A very easy way to do that. So I would love to hear your ideas for organizing buttons. Another one that I use, which I'll bring out, later this month. We're going to be doing organizing all month. But there's I have other ways, but these are the main ones that I wanted to grab. And then I'll get into showing you how to organize your patterns. But I'd love to know what you guys use for this. What do you use for your beads? Do you use bags? Do you use boxes? Do you use anything like this? Here's another one. This one has a mixture of all different colors, and you can see they're all different kinds of beads. Bugle beads. These are the ends for bracelets. Same, these are different size for bracelets. And these look amazing if you're going to put these on one of your garments. So add a little embroidery to your top, then add a few beads, and you're really going to look like you have a very expensive top on. And you can use it for casual wear. It doesn't just have to be for fancy stuff either. So I'm going to come over and see what you guys have to say, how you organize your beads and buttons. And by the way, I apologize for the camera showing you like all of the, what do you call that? The zoom? It's a new camera. I forgot to turn that off. So my apologies on that. You'll just have to live with it for this time. I'm listening to you. Robin says that she uses those divided box. Yes. And for fishing. And that's exactly what, so what happens is when, you'll kind of laugh about this. So my husband will go buy boxes for fishing, and he spends a little bit more on his boxes than I do from the craft store. Then he sees my boxes from the craft store, and he's like, oh, those are nicer. I go, but you spent more, so you keep yours and I'll keep mine. Oh, yes, Pam, you want to see how we embroider with the machine? Yes. So a lot of times I'll do with the machine if it's a wide button that you can, or a wide bead that you can get your needle through. For the little itty bitty ones, you have to do those by hand. Space racks, those work very well. Yes. So anyways, if you think of it, post a photo of how you organize somewhere on social, especially on Instagram, and use hashtag #BrotherSews. And then we can see how you organize, because for the whole month, we're going to be so organized that we're going to be ready to sew the rest of the year, right? Kathy says she uses the same ones. Can you remove labels? Yeah, Elizabeth, you can remove those labels, but you know what? I didn't have time before the live show, but thank you. Yes, just put a little moisture on them and they wipe right off. Arnell, I do think yours would be full of purple beads. Ooh, Jen's putting in wall shelving. That's awesome. I saw a few of you redoing your entire rooms. So Marcia, where did I find those boxes that cheap? You know, I don't know. I can guess where those came from, and you could message me. It's not a brother product, so you message me, I can tell you. But they're quite old, like probably 10 years old, maybe? At least 10. Oh, how about the buttons? 22-cent buttons? Where do you find those? I think those are like 20 years old, if not. Actually, a really good friend of mine, when somebody in her family had passed away, she gave me all of these buttons. And then another one, I bought out a store that was closing years ago. So that's where all the buttons came from. Although I have other buttons, which I'll show you later on in another way that I store, and those are the really expensive ones. Have you noticed you can buy some buttons that are so expensive, they're more expensive than your entire garment, right? I know. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to show you. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to point out today is when you're organizing your pattern. So I hang mine from a rack, and then some other people hang them like, put them in a bag. So here's my pattern. I've got this. Usually you have this cut out into pieces and your pattern booklet, or if you have an envelope or something like that. So I'm just going to swap you one time. So hold on one second. I'm just going to fix that camera so you don't have to stare at that. So keep yourself company for 1 second. I will be right back. You got to love it when you have brand new things and then you forget something. So I apologize that you had to stare at that the whole time. I just have to remember what setting it is. I don't think it was too annoying, right? Just a little bit. Oh, goodness. Well, oh, here it is. Off. There we go. Okay. Now you can look at something normal. Let me just double check that worked. It did. And that one's working too because that's where we're going next. Oh, Cindy, you could stare at that machine a long time. I agree. Oh, hey, Barbara, how are you? Sherry. Phyllis, how do you organize? You organize your elastic piping cording hardware using the Alpha Drawer system. That's a great idea. Thread is another one. Oh, Wanda stores her thread in those. That's an idea. Oh, Judy bought wooden thread and stabilizer racks from her brother dealer. They were inexpensive and hold a lot. That's a great idea. I'm reading your comments. Oh, by the way, speaking of buttons and zippers at an inexpensive price, speaking of thrifting, well, my mom called the other day and she said that she was shopping right before the holidays, and there was a lady that just had a cart full of jeans, and she didn't know if she was like, maybe, I don't know. I'd be not judging, of course. Was she buying them just because she's out of jeans, or was she buying them to give away, or what was she doing with all these jeans? And then, but the weird thing was they were all different sizes. So you would just like, if you were going to be judgmental, you just assume that you're giving them away, or maybe you have a very large family, or you got a ton of friends. I don't know. But anyways, here's what's really interesting. The woman pulled my mom to the side and said, oh, you know what? Do you sew? I don't know how she knew that my mom sewed, but I guess, yes. My mom says, yes, I do. She goes, well, here's a great idea for you. All of the pants were on the final clearance rack at one of the department stores, and they were really cheap. And she said, and they all had really cool designer zippers. And she said, I can't even find these zippers to sew. And she sews bags and garments. So what she does is wait till those clothes are so inexpensive. She buys them and then cuts out the zippers and reuses them. That is a brilliant idea. And then she says she uses the fabric from the denim and makes bags. What a great way to stock up on designer zippers and all the things that you need for that. So just, that was kind of a cool tip. So if you're one of the Brother Sews followers and that was you, thanks for the great idea. I love that. Yes. Okay, so now let me show you how to make it's a bag to hold your patterns. And then there's more that we're going to do with this later in the month, like little organizers with zippers. But this is just a quick, easy thing, and I'm just going to give you a quick tutorial on sewing this. Okay? All right. So I'm going to take you here first. And let me just get over there, and I'll meet you there. Okay. So move my beads out of the way. So what I have here is this is just clear plastic. You can buy this in a craft store, just a fabric store. And it comes usually with a piece of paper behind it. So the first thing you need to do, I'm just grab my ruler here. The first thing you need to do is decide how big you want your envelope. So just picture like a manila envelope that you're going to use to stuff your patterns. So if I already have this pattern cut out and I needed more room, I would make this a little larger. If you're going to keep it this size, then you would only need that size. So what I usually do first is going to be just like an envelope bag. To see how much room you need. So fold your bag in here, or put your pattern in here. Fold this over and give yourself extra room on each side. I like to give myself a lot of extra room. So I'm just going to use the grid below me here. I love having a grid mat that's big like this. And I'm just going to trim while this is folded in half. I'm using a rotary cutter with a rotary mat, by the way. You could also use scissors, but you can see how easily this cuts through both layers. Well, kind of easily, right? Let me make sure that this is pretty straight. So that will give me plenty of room for this pattern here. I'm just going to open this. And now I'm just going to double check that everything's straight. Because when it's folded in half, it could not, it might just be a little bit crooked. So now you're going to cut in one layer. So if I line this up, cut down this line. Turn it this this way. And lastly. It's pretty close. Now, by the way, once you sew this, you can trim it again if you want. Looks like this side's a little bit off. I just don't want to cut too much off. I need room for my pattern, right? There. Now each side looks pretty even. Now, which side was I going to add this in? Let's see. Great. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is sew down each of these sides. Now, you could add decorative stitching across the top if you want, but these won't fray. So this is the fastest, easiest bag you're ever going to make. But let me just go show you what we're going to do here. So I'm going to fold this in half. We're going to stitch down each side. I'm also going to show you an example just on a scrap piece here of what else you can do here. Okay, so I'll meet you at the sewing machine. Arnell, I do get my exercise running from machine to machine. Got to get it somehow, right? Okay, so make sure you guys can see that okay. I think you can. There you go. All right, so I have on the Move It foot right now. The Move It foot makes it so easy to sew this fabric. So if you've ever sewn this, it's not really fabric, it's vinyl, clear vinyl. Sticky. Sometimes it can be difficult to stitch over to have a nice even stitch. And that's where the Move It foot comes in handy. So I'm making sure that it's on. So it could be off or on. And you have this. This isn't just on the Luminary, remember. Some of your older machines have this. The Dream Machine even has it. Stellaire, all of those. The Move It foot is awesome. You could also use a walking foot, but I really like this one. So I always like to give it a test first. So first thing I'm going to test is stitch length. So put this down. Now, when you're using the Move It foot, you cannot use a back stitch, all right? So actually, while I'm here, just to show you one little tutorial with this, just close your eyes for 1 sec. I'm going to move you over to here. I know it's a little dark, but hopefully you can see it. Bring you a little closer. How's that? Better? I know. Oh, my friends are like, oh, I hate it when you do that. Okay, here we go. So on here, you can see it says DF. That means you're using the Move It foot. Digital dual feed. Got it? Now, what about if you want to use a decorative stitch? So if you look through here, see these things that are darked out, darked out. You tell I've been gone for a week. These things that are faded, 114, these are all faded, meaning you cannot use those. But you could use this, and it shows me here that's what it would look like. All right? Another way that you can choose different stitches, bring you back over here. Need a tripod with wheels, right? Another way that I can choose this is by using the projector. And I'll just bring this on so you can see it. And you can see it kind of goes through the glass here. Let me just bring a piece of fabric on here. This is a jacket I'm working on right now. Isn't it pretty? You can see it on that, can't you? Yeah. Okay, so on here, actually I'll put the white. I think you'll see better. I can see my stitch line, but I can also change my stitches right here and see what it's going to look like on the plastic. Of course, I don't know if I grabbed the right. Hold on. You know I grabbed the one that don't have a battery. It doesn't have a battery? All right, let's do this one. Oh, yes, the light is shining. Okay, so here's the one where the light's shining. This is what I'm looking for right here. So on here, here's my stitch that I'm choosing. And when you click this icon here, it will show me all the decorative stitches that I can use on here. Isn't that great? So I can scroll through here and say, you know, I don't know what these are going to look like on top of the plastic, but I'll know exactly by looking right here. See if I can find a really, let's try that. Once you click set, it shows you it here, and then you can either leave this on or just turn it off. So I'll turn it off. So let's just see what this decorative stitch looks like on the plastic. When you're using the move it foot, you're not going to want to use a full speed. You want to go slower just to be able to control your fabric. Also, that rubber band in there is what's controlling the top layer of fabric. Now, I'm only sewing on one layer right now. If I did not want to use the move it foot right now, I could just disengage it, and then it would just sew regular. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this, and then I'm going to show you later what I would do with this. So you'll get ideas. Here you go. This is, doesn't that look cool? Can you see that okay? Right on my hand. I'm going to bring this to the table and show you something, but it's stitched through here just fine. It looks great. So you can check your tension on there. Now let's go ahead and sew our bag. Now, what I would have done, first of all, if you want to decorate the top of your pattern envelope, you could stitch a decorative stitch all the way across the top here. You don't need to fold the fabric, just leave it flat like this, and I'll show you how to take care of that. But let's just say you just want to sew your bags. You're in the mood to just get this done. You're going to choose a straight stitch. And I'm going to use a stitch length of 3.0. I'm going to use 3.5. You want a larger stitch length. If it's too close, it can really make a mess of your plastic. All right, at the very beginning, I'm going to just do 2 stitches. And now I'm just going to use a stay stitch, which is right here. And now we're going to just sew. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to, I think I was not on the fabric, not on the vinyl. Here we go. There we go. Now let's start again. There we go. I wasn't under the rubber part, so make sure you're further back on that rubber part. And I'm just going to stitch all the way to the end. And if for some reason it's not working, I'm just going to show you under here. Go back to the screen. Right here. Under the digital dual foot, under settings here. I'm just going to find this on here. Here you go. The feed adjustment. You can adjust this higher and lower to make that go faster or slower. Does that make sense? So maybe we want it to go, let's just increase the pressure just a little bit. How about to 6 and see what we have. Bring it back over. Making sure the plastic isn't sticking on my tabletop here. See the difference? Now it's running right through. Because now I added more pressure to the top. When I get to the back, I'm just going to do a stay stitch because you don't want it to rip out. And then I'll bring this back over to show you in a little bit, but you can see this is not totally straight. We're going to fix that. That's no problem. But you can see the difference in the stitch at the end was much better than at the beginning. Both sides look good though. So now let's go to this side over here and let's try this again. Remember, you have to start down far enough where your fabric is under the rubber part of the foot. I'm making sure my bag is nice and flat. Now another thing, because this is a plastic surface here where my machine is down, flat, this is sticking on that. So be careful that that's not happening when you start. So do a couple stitches, do a stay stitch. And again, I increase the pressure to 6 in case for those of you that start sewing this and you don't want to test it, this just gives you a little tip. I'm using a number 14 denim jean needle. You could also just probably use just number 12 or 14 universal. When I get to the end, I'm going to just do a stay stitch again. Somebody asked me one day, what is the stay stitch for? Well, that's in case you want to just lock that stitch, but you can't back stitch. I could just trim this thread off. All right, so here's my other side. Now let's go back to the table, and I'm going to show you how to straighten this out. All right, before I go to the table, I just want to know if there's any questions on that foot, because there's so many things you can do with this clear vinyl. I have bags all over my house, from little zippered bags to hanging bags with zippers for little compartments to bags for my sewing machine for needles, things like that. It's so easy to sew on. Yes. Hey, Belle. Rolls over like butter. Yes, it does, Barb. Great to see you and Happy New Year. Okay, so I'm just making sure. Oh, Mickey, I'm using the Luminaire. But the foot that I'm using there is also on the Still Air, the Dream Machine. I can't remember if the Dream Weaver had it or not off the top of my head, but it's not totally new, but it's fantastic. Okay, so you're ready? Let's go to the table and I'm gonna show you how to finish this off. Okay, first of all, just bring you in just a wee bit closer so you can see this. Okay, you can see these decorative stitches. This looks great. Now I told you didn't have to fold this over, right? So if I had done this all over the top of the bag, before I sewed this bag together, what I would do is take this to the table, line this up with one of my lines on my grid, and just give it a nice trimming, about 1/8 of an inch away from that stitching. See, like that? And now, if I made the bag after that, this would be the top of my bag. It looks great, so it doesn't fray. So you could have beautiful stitching on here. You could use, I don't know, variegated thread. You could use a lot of different things on here. Okay, so that's that. Now, here's my bag. And this one side was stitched pretty straight, the other side not so much. The one I started with was not very pretty, but that's because I was showing you that you had to change your settings. I'll go back and fix that, but for a pattern book, nobody's gonna notice. So I'm just gonna line my stitch line up with one of the grid lines and stitch just about, I'm gonna go about 1/4 inch away, and I'll explain why. You could even go 1 inch if you want. Okay, here's this side. Trim this off. And now the top. Remember, we started down a little bit, so I need to trim that as well. I'm gonna start at the top stitch, trim all the way down at the top stitch. Okay, now why would I leave all this extra space? Well, first of all, now I can fit my pattern in there. Even if I have a longer pattern, that would fit in here. There's a couple things you could do with this now. If you have a bag, however you store your fabric maybe, or you can just line these up and stack these on top of each other. If you're going to use this with something else, maybe you have a zippered bag that you keep your fabric project in, you could actually stitch this right to the canvas and put this right on top of a bag. That's another idea for you. And if you stitch that on there, then you can just squeeze your pattern in there. In fact, Jennifer and I today were talking about this, and I said this would be so much fun to do this with. And if you have bigger pieces, just make your bag bigger. And now you have these that you can just throw in one of your bags. You can put a snap on here if you were carrying this somewhere, or just leave it like this. It's basically a beautiful plastic manila folder. Yes. And don't forget, you have a chance to win that pattern on my website. I do the drawing tomorrow. Okay, what do you think? I know I love clear vinyl too, Arnell. So I have rolls and rolls of clear vinyl. And every year, I always say in January, I'm going to take some time and make myself a bunch of bags that are customized with monograms on them. So if you want to binge watch over the weekend, everything that we've played over the last quite a few months, during the holidays, we had monograms, keychains, things like that. Hanging off of this bag would be fantastic. So just another thing that you can do. Now, do you have any questions on the Move It foot? Oh, hey, Jen. Let me see. Looks great. I wonder if it would be a good idea to turn it inside out. So you could do that. Oh, totally, you could do that. In fact, Jen, you know what else you could do? And this is how I do some of my bags that are a little bigger. I will turn it inside out, and I will also add a boxed bottom. And that way it's a little bit thicker if I have something thick that I'm going to put in there. So yeah, you could totally do that. I kind of like the idea of the exposed stitching, but I also like the idea of using a decorative stitch. So I could have done a nice decorative stitch down each side, which makes it look fantastic. Anything like that. But because it's clear vinyl, it doesn't fray. Depends how much time you have and what you're storing is what you can do. So I'd love to see what you guys do with that. And of course, adding a snap to the top would make it super easy. You could also even do a buttonhole on these. An embroidered buttonhole would be very cool. Oh, thanks. Annette says she loves it. Thanks, Mickey. Oh, I love snaps. I think Reen got me addicted to the snaps. Reen, it's all your fault. To enter to win for the pattern. So I'm giving away patterns. I think there's 5 up there right now. I'll just give you the website real quick. This is not associated with Brother, but it's associated with me. And tomorrow on my page, I'll be giving that away. So go here. Go there. And you'll see all the blog posts. All you have to do is leave a comment. So Barbara, you could use another foot, but this foot works fantastic because you can adjust the pressure on this. It's different than just, I mean, you can use another foot, the plastic foot or whatever. But the Move It foot, if you have it, I'm just giving you ideas to use it because I have so many people say, I don't even know what to do with this thing. So there are really practical reasons to use that. Not in every application, but there are some. I know. So Jen, I'm just going to warn you, when you go buy vinyl, you're going to think, okay, you're going to end up buying like 10 yards, and then you're going to have enough for bags for like 10 years, like I have now. But it's my goal to make the bags. And I want to add monograms. So maybe next time I'll show you how to add a monogram to that, and we'll expand on the vinyl. So you can pretty much plan for all of my little segments for the next month. We're going to be using a lot of clear vinyl. But the other educators and other brand ambassadors are going to be joining us starting on Thursday and showing you their organizing tips and other projects, of course. Oh, yes, you have to have zippers in the bag. So speaking of bags, how many of you remember the bag that I did for Brother? It's on the Brother blog, which you go to blog.brothersews.com. I'll bring that banner up as well. I did a bag quite a few years ago. It was a 5-series sew-along where I did a nail bag. And so it had my nail pouches for my nail polish, clear zippered containers to put in my file and things like that. It's on the blog. And there's 4 or 5 YouTube videos. You might really like that. It was, yeah, let me just bring up the blog for Brother. I'm bringing this up real quick, ibroidery.com. Some of you asked, I've received a few emails, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten all of them returned yet from being gone for the holidays, but ibroidery.com is where a lot of us were getting our embroidery designs. Okay, so I think it's right. Here you go. blog.brothersews.com. And if you go there, just look under Angela Wolf or look under nails, nail bag, something like that. And you'll see all of the YouTube videos. And I think it was a 5-part series. Don't quote me on it though. It was a while ago. Very cute bag. I still carry it with me, although I could not find it before I left for the holidays. So I might have left it at my mother's house. Oh, hey, Kelly. Yes. Oh, you do remember that. So that was a while ago. You know what, Kathy? I don't know what gauge vinyl that is. I just found it in the home dec department. And I've had it for quite a while. So that's why I can't tell you for sure. Oh, Marcia. Yes, I do have a knits class. If you go on the blog for it, there's a knits virtual class that's coming Saturday, January 16th. And if you message me, I can send you a link for it. But it's also on my blog. When you click on it, you should be able to just access the class. And Janice asked again about weight. So next time I go to the store, I'll check the gauge of this vinyl that I'm using because like I said, I bought it so long ago, I don't know. Sandy, yes, this machine came with quite a few of the Brother machines. Not all of them, but quite a few. Like the Luminaire, Stellaire, Dream Machine, all of those off the top of my head. It's been so many years, it's hard to keep track of everything. Not the Quattro, though. It was not on the Quattro. Oh, Christine, that's a good idea. She made a bag to get through security at the airports. That does make it much faster. You know what? You know what else I like about the clear vinyl bags is I make little makeup bags with that because sometimes you get your powder in there or eyeshadow, and I can just quickly rinse it out because you always read these articles about germs and stuff like that in your makeup bags. Well, I don't want to throw those out all the time. So you can just quickly see the dirt, clean it out, and you're good. Brushes, stuff like that. Oh, Kimberly uses shower curtains. That's a good idea. Great to see you too, Donna. Oh, that's a good idea. I got Mickey thinking the decorative stitch and turn it towards the inside so it just peeks out. That's a great idea. Oh, Marcia, yeah. So the knits class you do have to pay for. It's a virtual class. And if you message me, I can show you how. Fashion Sewing Club members get a discount and American Sewing Guild members get a discount, but that's not associated with Brother. So just message me and I can get you some coupon codes. I'm just reading. Susan wants to know, Christine, if you got your pattern for your bag or you just made it. You guys, you can make your own bag. Just measure what you need for a rectangle or whatever, and then sew it. You're good to go. So now the nail bag, I gave exact dimensions on there, if that helps. Let me see if I can bring that up to show you because it was very, very cute. And the whole purpose of that blog post was to teach you. I will bring it up here for you. Okay, you ready? I'll share my screen with you. Then you'll know exactly what you're looking for. Make sure I got the right screen. I have a bad tendency to have a lot of tabs open. Okay, so here, if you go to blog.brothersews.com, you can click on this little tag right here that says Angela Wolf. Oh, hey, it's about time to pull that jacket back out of the closet. You can scroll through here. There's a ton of my blogs in here. Those of you that, how many of you bought the Star Wars machine over the holidays? There's the Stellaire unboxing. And then these were our New Year's Eve projects. There's a ton of stuff in here. But let me just find that. Oh, the hat. I forget about some of these projects that I did. There's how to embroider or how to do buttonholes. I know it was a while ago, so let me find this. We did the refashioning jeans. You can win that pattern too, although it's not a very flattering photo of it. That's my Delilah. I'm giving that away tomorrow too, so don't forget, go to the blog. Here's some refashioning ideas for you. And where is the, didn't this one turn out cute? I wore this one over the holidays. So that was a sweater that was a turtleneck that I can't stand anymore. I can't stand any turtlenecks anymore. And so I just cut it off and added some tulle to the sleeves. It turned out great. There's another one. Can you tell I love those sweaters? These are all on the blog for Brother. So they have so many great things on here, not just from me, but from like everybody. It's fantastic. This was the one for Valentine's. I've been trying to find that and I cannot find it anywhere. I'm going to have to make another one. But if you're looking for fun mug rugs, that was in the Hoop Project. And where is, I know it's in here. I'm going to take you through this whole thing. It's like going back in time. There's the video bag. That's a canvas tote bag, by the way. That's really easy to make. The lipstick bag. These were all big sew-alongs that we did. So there, see that foot? That's what she was asking. Could I use that foot instead? Of course you could. But the move it foot really makes it slick. Cover stitch. Don't tell me that it's not. There's the little black dress. Okay, well, I know it's in here. Let me type in nail bag. So in the search bar, by the way, if you're looking for anything on blog.brothersews, that's how you do that. Okay, there was my lunch bag. Oh, here we go. It's not under my name. It's under Manicure Bag Part 5. So let me just show you a photo of this stinking cute bag. And I love this. So I taught you how to do embroidery with metallic thread. And you can see we used clear vinyl, zippers, and I think I have a photo of the finished. Maybe not there, but that's what it looks like. And it's all videos, so it's really easy to follow along. So go to blog.brothersews and be sure to leave comments on those blog posts too, because I love to see what you're working on or if you have questions. So in here, this is what the inside of the bag looks like. Isn't that fun? I mean, not that we're traveling anymore, but I used decorative stitches through this area. Here's all your clear vinyl with zippers. You can make so many organizing things with these zippers, which I have a few more coming for you, like hang up bags, stuff like that. But just to get your creative mojo going, right? Yes. Oh, well, thanks, Sandy. And it's great to see you, by the way. I was just going through photos of you, Sandy. She was the big winner a few years ago that we got to hang out in Florida for a little while. All right, guys, you have any more questions for me? Because here's what's new for 2021. Brother live shows at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays, Brother Brand Ambassadors. Thursdays, Brother Educators. And we're going to mix it up a little bit. So you're going to get some creative ideas. You're also going to get some tutorials. I know on Thursday, Jerry's coming, and I did not see who else, but I know that we've got a whole schedule. So something new. If you go to the Brother Facebook page, you can always see the events of who's coming. And starting now, I'm going to be posting on my blog the schedule for every week. So you're just going to go under calendar. It's almost set up, but you'll go under calendar at my blog. Go to angelawolf.com. You'll see it, and it'll show all the shows, who's going to be on it. So you can just put it in your phone, set the alarm, and you won't miss a thing. Because you know how Facebook keeps changing things. One day you get an alert, one day you don't. This way you won't miss a thing. Another thing is you can go back and watch these on the Facebook or YouTube in case you didn't know that. So those will be the same. We still have Cindy's show on Tuesdays, which is Software Shut-In, which is today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And everything I always say is Eastern, by the way. And then Wednesday, 1:30 p.m. on my page. It's a lot to keep track of, but once I have the calendar there, if you just save those dates on your phone, just save the time. If you like to hang out with Brother on Tuesdays at noon, put it in your phone as a reminder. You know we're always here. And if we're not, I always leave a note. I think I only missed one last year, but that was kind of important. Wednesdays at 1:30 Eastern is mine. And then you have Emily at 3 p.m. on Wednesdays. And again at noon with the Brother. So it sounds like a lot, right? And then, of course, Saturdays at noon, you can watch the It's So Easy reruns on the Brother page. So that's a lot, and we have a lot of exciting things. So the month of January is getting organized, and I'd love to hear what you're using too. So make sure if you share any photos, use hashtag BrotherSews and hashtag Angela Wolf, so I can share those as well. All right, so in the meantime, if you want to win one of my patterns, hop over to my blog. You can go to angelawolf.com, click on blog, and I believe there's 4 or 5 in there. The Bella, the Shirley wrap dress, that's a good one. The Lacey, the Delilah, and there's going to be more. So enjoy. All right, everyone, have a great day and Happy New Year. Oh, don't worry, Marie, you can go back and watch the rerun. Oh, Dee, hold on. If you guys have more questions, I'll hang on for one more minute. Is the Sew Expo happening in Puyallup? So, Dee, nobody's traveling, so there are no events right now scheduled, but I have virtual classes coming up. I have a knits virtual class, which starts, it's the 16th on a Saturday. It's a 3-hour. That would love to have you. The expo in Puyallup, which is not associated with Brother, but as you know, you could have bought a Brother machine there. You still can. It's all virtual though. And I actually just got their postcard. I was looking around my desk because the mailman got here, which is why I was like 2 minutes late because I had to say hi to him. I have the card here somewhere. It's all virtual. So you'll be able to see the Brother dealer to look at machines virtually. You can take classes virtually. They have free classes virtually. I'm teaching 6 classes. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll make sure that I put that in the schedule on my page as well. I just kind of started putting together things for this year. So, oh, you're welcome, Esther. Great to see you. Happy New Year, Charlene. Marcia, you went through the catalog last night. I heard there's a ton of classes. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Robin. You too. Thanks, Cindy. I'm just checking. Crystal said she posted something above. What did you post? Hey, Lorraine. Yeah, I don't know about any of the other expos. At this point, I don't plan on traveling for a while because I have quite a few virtual classes here, and I have my fashion sewing club for those of you that really like to sew a lot. And stay tuned. And I know that a lot of the other educators are also doing virtual classes. So all you have to do is just, when they're live, ask when their classes are, maybe follow what's going on the pages. You'll be able to learn from the comfort of your living room, right? Oh, is Jerry doing a class in Puyallup too? That's awesome. Oh, Marie, I totally get it. I can't even find half my stuff right now. So by the way, I'm going to let you go now, but Fashion Sewing Club, don't forget, we have our live show today at 4 p.m. So have a wonderful day. Thursday is Jerry on the brother page, which is right here. And tomorrow I will see you on my page at 1:30. Good luck on winning those patterns, and there's more to come. I always love to give away. All right, see you. Have a great day.